there, welcome, خوش آمدین to my kitchen. My name is Iman and today we'll be making the Afghan white rice called Chalau. So what is chalau, you may ask? Chalau is the name of the dish for the Afghan white rice that we enjoy as a staple. Today I'll be using Mother Rice to make my chalau. Mother Rice is an awesome brand and very reliable in creating the type of chalau that we would like to have for a perfect sort of Afghan dish. Afghan rice, as you know, if you've been watching along with some of my videos, is the kind of rice that produces a dish in which each grain is separated, elongated, nice and puffy and fluffy. This can only be achieved using certain brands of rice. Different rice brands will provide you a certain quality level of the grains in there. All rices will have a mixture of high quality and lower quality grains, and Mother Rice is one of the premier brands of rice because it uses a larger proportion of those premier rice grains. Similar to aubara, which I use for my palau, the taste, the aroma, the texture, the size, and the actual flavors of the rice are all dependent on the grain you use itself. Since this is the foundation of our dish, it's important to select the correct foundation when beginning to cook. The first step to making chalau is to measure your rice into a bowl and wash it. You may watch my video, How to Wash Rice, for more specific detailed instructions of how to do so. There you have it. We've completed washing and soaking our rice. I'm allowing this to sit. I've left it to soak for 2 hours, so the grains have, as you can see, grown longer. And what I'll do is transfer them to this pot that is wide. I'm using a wider pot because this will actually prevent the rice from being as mushy, because it'll have room to spread out over the heat. The wider the pot, the better, especially when you're using the dampocht method, which is what we're using today. Now the technique I'm using is I'm just lifting the grains out gently, and what I'll do at the end is drain this water to get the residual grains that are left on the bottom. I am being very careful not to touch and press and mush the rice grains because you don't want them to break apart or break their shell exterior. So I'm just gently lifting out, and I'll go over to the sink and drain the rest of this water to get those last few grains that are on the bottom here. Okay, I'm gonna add in these last few grains. Like I mentioned before, we're using the dampocht method, which is different than the soft method that you saw in my palau video. You can use dampocht method or soft method when you make either chalau or palau. It's just a personal preference of what's easier for you to do. The only difference between soft and dampocht is, will you strain it into a colander and do that water bath, washing it down, and then put it back in the pot with new liquid or not. So dampocht, what we do is I've just put the rice in right now. I'm gonna add the salt over top. Okay, and now the oil. For the dampocht method, we are going to use water that has already been boiled. I love to use these kettles that are electrically boiled. Cover the rice with enough water so that it is covered with just a ½ inch of water above the surface. This makes it easier for whatever size pot you're using. You just have a ½ inch of water above the rice. A ½ inch really is like half of my fingertip length, like this. So Still need a little bit more. Yep, we're getting there. Okay, this is good. We're gonna let this boil, and it'll boil down and reduce to only having about a ½ centimeter of liquid left inside of it to finish steaming, just like we did in the soft method. Don't forget to turn your exhaust fan on. I'll do that now. Turn this on high heat, let it boil, and really watch it closely to make sure when most of the water has evaporated out and there's only a little bit of water left for that final step. You can hear that there still is water in the rice. Listen closely to that fizzing sound. I'm going to use a wooden ladle to create 4 holes in my rice for the following steaming process that's going to happen. Again, like I mentioned earlier, the d'emporte method is just that method of cooking rice where you use the liquid from the beginning to the end to continuously cook it off and then finish with steaming. Before I finish steaming the rice is I took 2 cardamom pods and I have my mallet here. I'm placing them on a kitchen towel so I don't ruin my countertop. Using the flat side, giving 1 tap, a hard tap so that I just kind of break the shell like that. It's still whole. This one didn't break properly. Let me try again. Sometimes because they're small, it takes a second. There we go. You can see the crack that I formed. And I'm gonna put this in our rice. Open, I'm gonna put 1 in one hole, 1 in another hole. That just helps with the aroma and fragrance of the rice. And I'll also put a few pieces of butter that I've cut up just on top of the rice for a nice flavor. Okay, set that aside. And this is a clean kitchen towel, a brand new one that has been washed. I'm opening it up. I'm taking the lid of the pot and I'm wrapping the towel onto the lid. This will prevent the droplets of water from falling back on the rice and making it soggy. Instead, it'll collect here on the cloth and thus prevent our rice grains from being soggy. Make sure that this has a tight seal, and I'm gonna turn it on to cook. All right, so our rice has finished cooking. I had left it on the stovetop on the lowest heat for 30 minutes, and so we'll see how it turned out. Oh my God. Oh, the steam is amazing, and if you see inside, you'll see that each grain is kind of standing up on its own. That's wonderful. This is perfect. I'm using a slotted spoon to take out the rice gently. I am just making sure not to mush it. It won't mush, but I'm carrying it out softly like that to preserve the integrity of the grains. And as I lay it, wow, this has such an amazing fragrance. It smells like, the smell of cardamom just smells like fresh and clean. And that combined with that butter, you really can smell the butter. It gives it such a nice aroma. It's just like a very clean, straightforward scent. We're eating the traditional way. And just try it. I know you may think white rice is so basic, who can't do it, but honestly, the keys to a really good, consistent rice are such an essential part of the foundations of cooking, especially for Afghan food. Oh my God. Wow. Each grain has such a lovely texture. It holds its shape really well, but then gets soft when you get in the middle. And oh my God, that buttery sort of coating over top really gives it a nice sort of oomph. I hope you all enjoy and let me know how your chalau turns out. It was wonderful having you in my home, and I look forward to seeing you here again. Take care.